were so many that lost their businesses during that time. Bianca, it's wonderful to have you with us on this interview today. We're, for our those that are listening, going to watch our show. This is Spotlight Publishing, and we work really closely with our authors and our experts to bring the tips, the tools, the resources for authors to keep their books selling, keep it out before the audience. And this is a beautiful time. Bianca is our guest today, and both of us, both Bianca and I, are co-authors in this book, Amazing Woman, It's Your Time to Emerge. And it's been quite a journey to be in this book series. And I want to introduce you, Bianca, to our listeners and really share the heart and soul of who you are and what you bring to the world in the amazing ways that you do. She's for over 21 years. Bianca Torrence has served as a real estate professional in Los Angeles, Malibu, and coastal communities. Sounds amazing. Listing and selling homes, helping clients from diverse multicultural backgrounds. Dedicated to the mission of advocating clean sports and empowering underprivileged runners and youth, she is the founder of David Torrance Legacy Foundation, is a co-founding member of the Malibu Cart for the Homeless, president of the Malibu Rotary Club, amazing, from 2017 to 2019, an award recipient of the Citizen of the Year at Malibu Dolphin. Bianca is currently writing a book that shares the wisdom, tools, and practices that allowed her to transform loss and grief into a new reality of love, grace, and magic. Oh my goodness. So reading your chapter in this book, Bianca, has been amazing. And how was this journey for you? Tell us your backstory, I guess, the story that prompted this chapter in the book.
Well, this has been coming quite a long time. I wanted to write. I just didn't have the tools. I guess I wasn't ready. But I've had many losses. You know, I lost my husband when I was 32 years. So 30. Actually, I was 26, and my husband was 31, and I had my two kids. So that loss was terrible at that time. And then in 2007, I lost my mom, and I thought that was terrible. But losing my son in 2017 was just that just was.
I can't even imagine.
Yes,
I can't even imagine.
That broke me in such a way that I was so devastated. I found myself in very dark places, and I really wanted to end my life. But I have a daughter, you know, and she kind of gave me strength and a reason, motivation to inspire me to keep going. And I just had such a wonderful relationship with my son, and he was such an amazing guy, a track and field star, an Olympian. And I was inspired by him to write and to do something on his behalf, and that's why I started a foundation. But I started writing because I feel that I found out that writing has helped me heal, and I think the response that I've gotten from people that have read my story, they said that I've touched their heart. So that tells me that it's also good for the reader. So more importantly, sharing the tools that has helped me endure all these losses, and
Too many losses.
yes, so many. And I was talking to my friend Ann Booksy here, who is a storyteller in Malibu. I was telling her, Ann, this is crazy. How I've had so many losses, and I feel like it's like a bag of sad news. Nobody wants to
Mhm.
hear sad news, and when you say to someone, "Oh, I lost my son," the dynamics of the whole conversation changes because
Right.
it's an uncomfortable feeling, not only for me but for the people listening. And but I've learned that I just have to let go with it. I cannot make assumptions, and I cannot make judgments. It is what it is. What I do know is that I've learned some tools that has helped me during my healing journey.
It's such an amazing story. And it's one thing to losses in and of itself is heart wrenching, but when it's a child, it changes everything. When it's even if he's all grown up, it's your child, no matter what the age. Same
Sure.
number of years difference between you. It's all that, and to have lost a son that way, and then you also lost your fiance, lost his son about 6 months later, right?
Well, he lost my fiance and I were supposed to get married in 2017, and he lost his son in February unexpectedly. And he's 34-year-old son, and then 6 months later, I lost mine,
Mm.
and also unexpectedly, and two beautiful young men that had the world in front of them, and we were just devastated. I was sad for John, my fiance, when this happened, and I was there for him, for 6 months, and then when I lost David, it was just like a double whammy. It was just like out
It
of
was too
control.
much. It was too much.
And also we're different personalities. He's a man, I'm a woman. I had a really good relationship with my son. We were like friends, and I really admired what he did. He inspired me a lot. And whereas John, he had obviously a father. He loved his son, but they didn't have a close relationship. They didn't talk for a long time. In fact, they were not talking when he passed away. So he had to deal with that also, because as a parent, we want to do the best for our kids, right? And we want the best for
Absolutely.
them.
Right.
And sometimes we don't get to do all of what we want to do, or and then when we lose them, we think, oh, we should have done this or we could have done that, and it's like you punishing yourself on top of the grief, and that's
Yeah.
just
And I
terrible.
can only imagine how that would feel, because that is our reaction. That is how we feel about, we take it internally, and if only I had, if I could have done better, if I could have done this, if I could have done that. But that doesn't change it.
That's
It doesn't change it. So, your story in the book, in the Emerge
yeah.
book, is
Uh-huh.
this your first time you've written on the subject?
Yes, this is the first time I've written on this subject. Yes,
Wow. Well,
and
your story was incredibly touching, and I know the journey to healing has to be pretty much a choice. You choose to stand up and to heal and to be well, but it's oftentimes not as let's see. We have another guest, and she says she's here and waiting, but I don't see her.
oh, heavy.
She's been waiting in the. Oh, let me just email her and make sure that I've got the right link.
Okay.
All right. Oh dear, I am not sure what to do about this. Could you forward her the link? Could you forward the email that I sent with the link?
Okay. Uh, Let me see.
So I'm so sorry to interrupt this conversation, because I don't see her below here.
Mm, oh no. Okay. So you just okay, Debbie. So I'll forward the link to Debbie.
Sorry for those listeners. We are expecting two guests, and they both were in the book, the Emerge book, and really would like this conversation to be, to make sure that she's part of this.
Yes.
Let's see.
Okay. Hopefully she got it.
Bianca is sending a link. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt this conversation, but
No problem. It's okay. Things happen.
The healing process for all of this is I think that for most of us we have choices to make when we deal with, here she is, yay, when we deal with loss of any kind of loss. It also has to come to a decision as to what we're going to do with it, about it. So, okay. Good morning. We're happy you made it, and we couldn't see you there. So,
I didn't see the link to get into the studio. It didn't show up.
Oh, well, I emailed. Well, we're live already in the show, so welcome to the show, and we'll make an introduction to you. But I'll welcome you into the conversation we're having with Bianca, and thank you for joining us. It's wonderful to have you here. So Bianca and I were talking about, the loss that she has experienced in her journey, and her chapter is about transforming loss and grief into the reality of love, grace, and magic. And the beauty of
a powerful chapter.
It is a very, very good chapter, and she made a choice. She made a choice to start her healing process and to stand above her story instead of right in it at all times. Bianca, when you chose to write this chapter, what were the emotions that you went through as you sat down to put pen to paper and make this happen?
Well, it takes you back to, you sort of have to dig in deep and a lot of memories. I was working on this story for probably 2 years with my friend Ann Brooksy, but I could never get it right. I didn't know where to start. I was saying too much, or I was saying not enough. And there's a way to tell a story where it's engaging and it's real. So when Marsh, she really helped me with the story. She framed it in such a way that I was able to just deliver. But there were moments where my heart just got heavy, and but immediately I focus on gratitude. So that puts me in a good place. So and this is why I wanted to write the story, because I have so many losses that I share, and each loss is different. And as I was saying earlier, that losing a child was the worst loss experience, the worst pain that I have ever experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to dig in really deep inside, and I had a realization when when I realized that everything is temporary, and I need to focus on gratitude, and those two things got me in a place where I was able to find some balance. And also, it is important to take care of yourself, have self-love, self-compassion, and because a lot of times we find ourselves that we're in pain, and on top of our pain, we're beating ourselves more on things that we did or we didn't do. And you can do that one time, but to do it over and over is just not good. So I think those two things, realizing that things are temporary, and focusing on gratitude, and practicing self-love and self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. And I think that is what helped me bring balance and harmony in my life after all these tragedies.
So, would you say that the self care, the gratitude, what other tool sets did you start practicing on a regular basis to really help yourself to rise above what you've been doing?
What I did, I was so frustrated. There's so many emotions going on when you're grieving, and I had to come to a realization that I had to let things go, and I trusted in divine justice, because I feel like the investigation of my son's death was not good, but I had to let it go because I couldn't keep going like that. And then I realized that I needed to connect and ground myself with Mother Earth. I practiced meditation quite a bit. I read a lot of books, which helped me understand a lot of things. And that gave me the wisdom um, to find the balance and harmony in my life. And, I was one of the emotions that you're dealing with when you are grieving, they say there's 5 stages of, different emotions, but one of them is anger. And I think my fiance and I, that's our emotions. He was dealing it in a different way, and I was dealing in a different way. And I'm a Latina, hot tempered. So it was really tough.
I'm sure it must have got very difficult from time to time.
Yes, it was. It was good that we had each other for the time, but going through the grief and the different, there was a lot of stuff going on also behind the scenes. We had the Malibu fires here, and there was a lot of stress also with our businesses, both his and mine, and that also caused the relationship to have so many problems. So we decided to just take a break. And honestly, I didn't think we were gonna get back together. It was like a miracle that happened.
And I know it's been such a journey.
Yes.
So, Debbie, you have a radio show, and you were interviewing Bianca yesterday. I think you said, Bianca.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't want to leave you out of the conversation. So feel free to join in, because I know you share many. You have your world of wealth that you bring, and your chapter was just as amazing. So feel free to jump into the conversation. So Bianca, one thing I noticed is that you've also been very, very active in your community, and you do a lot of things for sports, and you have a foundation that's in your son's name. How has that helped you to?
Yes, well, I created a foundation because I was frustrated with the investigation, how it was going, and I was spending so much energy on that. I decided to let it go and use that energy on something that I was inspired on by David to do, because that's what he wanted to do. And I thought, well, I'm going to continue doing that. The truth, whatever is going to come out, I have to focus my energy on something good. And helping others, it's also good during your grief, because we are in pain, but we can still be able to have compassion for other people that are less fortunate as well. And that helps bring things in perspective, because you could also be suffering, but there are people that that don't have a roof on their heads and stuff like that, and so many homeless. But the foundation I created, inspired by David, and the mission is to help underprivileged athletes, and providing scholarship to high schools, and resources for clean sports and to train with integrity. And this is specifically for runners, because my mom was a runner. For kids that are in track and field and cross country, And we have a program with Peru runners, which is Peru is my native country, and we're helping kids there that don't even have shoes to run or to train with. And we want to make sure that they have the resources that they need to learn to train with integrity and not use this all this doping stuff that is going on, sports enhancement with some drugs that are not good. And it's teaching the kids to have integrity with the sport, basically. And
That's
then
awesome.
talking about the homeless, I started an organization with my friend. She's the co-founder. I was just helping her because I started the first homeless count in Malibu in 2014, and that raised a lot of awareness on the homeless issue, and that's how I was a recipient. Very honored to receive the Citizen of the Year in 2017. So
You're
involved in the community, yes.
the involvement in the community. I'm sure, there's a certain amount of the satisfaction that comes that to see the transformation that you're providing for so many, and yet you've been able to use it as a way to stand taller and to heal and to create the magic in your life, and that's truly beautiful. So in the writing of this chapter, how has it affected you by being able to actually put pen to paper and write these words?
It has helped me. I found it very healing. There's an eager want for me to continue writing because I feel it's okay. I'm okay feeling vulnerable and telling the story. And there are many other stories that I can share, like the loss of my husband, for example, at such a young age, the loss of my mother, which was very traumatic. Um, so I think when I write all those stories, which I have, I'm in the process of doing. I haven't completed yet, but I think it's going to be very healing. And it's probably going to be a very interesting book to read for people that are going through grief. You know that there's a rainbow at the end of the storm, right?
Right, right.
Not to lose hope, because a lot of times we feel alone, and but we're never alone. There's so many other people going through the same thing that we are.
That is so true, and yet sometimes we're in the midst of it. We don't look at it that way because we're immersed in our own pain.
Yes, yes,
We don't think about that. Well, I think this is such a beautiful story, and to see where you are now, and your message needs to be shared. I do have an author that she's wanted to publish her 3 books. She lost 2 sons within 2 years of each other, almost on the same day, and it's been such a struggle for her, and she'll go into just really long periods of just quiet, just can't face the world, and she did that for a long time, and now she's writing these books, and it's created a source of healing for her. And she's dedicated 1 book to each son and then 1 about her and her journey to healing. And it's the voices like yours standing tall and expressing yourself that makes a difference, because there's so many that have experienced these kind of things, and sometimes they don't know how to get out of that pain.
Yeah,
And
you can get stuck on it. And like, for example, with my mom, I had to take you have to take the time to grieve and take care of yourself, but a lot of times I got really busy because I didn't want to deal with my pain. So I got involved with so many things, and it's not good. So it's important to pay attention to ourselves.
well, that's one of the main things you talked about at the beginning, was the self-care and how important self-care is. And I just thank you so much for the beauty of your story, and that you cared enough to do that, and that you're rising above it, and now you're shining the light. So you actually become kind of somebody that's able to show the way, you're an advocate in many ways. You unite people by sharing your story, because so now they don't feel so alone. And so what a beautiful role that you're playing in our world, and you're so needed. And that's
Thank
beautiful.
you, Becky. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. So we're going to take a short break for a moment, and then we'll bring Debbie in and hear what she wrote in her chapter and the story behind it. Whoops, there we go. And we'll be right back. So just stay tight, and we'll be right back. So, Debbie, I'm so sorry that somehow we got messed up on the links, and so I'm so glad you were able to join us. I was going, "Where's Debbie?"
Me too.
I'm sure you were in the background going, "Hey, where is she?" I wanted to introduce Debbie to our audience, and she also wrote a chapter in The Amazing Woman. It's Your Time to Emerge. And this beautiful book, it's on how women are discovering and harnessing the infinite power to manifest their evolving purpose. And I think so many of us are coming to a place of very keen awareness that it is time to speak up, to share our stories, to shine the light for those that are in a place that I think they're hearing their calling to, but not quite so sure which way to go with it and what to do about it. And it's by more of us standing up and sharing our stories and sharing our wisdom that we make a big difference in the world that we're living in. And, we've had tumultuous year, just everything that our world has faced in this past year. And yet I think it created deeper awareness of the times that we're living. So I'd like to give the proper introduction to Debbie. She's a host and executive producer of the podcast Dream Power Radio and the Dream Power TV show on Roku and Amazon, much like the show. She's incorporated the knowledge gleaned from her professional network as a wife and mother in her Dream Life coaching practice. In addition to her private coaching, Debbie has been the co-owner of a film and video production company, which was instrumental in the production of dozens of films, including the groundbreaking film, What the Bleep Did We Know? Wow, that's amazing. And the spiritual documentary, Dreaming Heaven. I have not heard of that one, Dreaming Heaven. Is it available on any of the major shows, or where is it available?
It's probably available. I mean, that was done about 10 years ago, so it's probably available on YouTube, I would imagine.
Awesome.
It was out in distribution at the time.
Ooh,
actually the movie that was indirectly but instrumental in my discovering dream work.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this story. But you're also the best-selling author of over 20 novels. That is amazing. I did not know that. This whole time we've been working with Marsh to get this book published. I did not know that. And that includes the Sweet Valley High series. And she credits her dream work to inspire her to return to writing. In her recent books are 101 Dream Dates, How to Say I Love You to the Most Important Person in Your Life, Yourself, Wow. And the bestseller, It Came Out of My Vagina, Now What? That sounds like a fun one. Co-written by Betty Chase. She's also featured in the books Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions, My Creative Thoughts, Recipes for Living, Careers from the Kitchen Table, Dancing in the Unknown, Dreams That Change Our Lives, and the Amazon bestseller, Raising the Bar Volume 5. And now, last but not least, this one. Whoops, I can't ever figure out how to get there. Debbie, amazing. And you're also a member of the International Association for the Advancement of Dreams and the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And I didn't even know there was a Holistic Chamber of Commerce. So welcome to our show. And, your chapter was on unvoiced confidence. I'd like to hear the story of how this journey has been for you and how this transpired, all these beautiful things. I know when I read your chapter, I was so amazed at the things that you've accomplished, but your story on how this all began.
Sure. Well, I guess, often you write about the things that you need the most. And for most of my life, I was very unconfident. And I talked myself, I was my own worst enemy. I talked myself into thinking that everything was always my fault, whether it was or not. I was just to blame for everything. And I couldn't go out to be a success, or be the success that I could be, because I kept holding myself back. I would say, I can't do this. I can't go after this. There's so many more people who are better than I am. So many people are more talented. So many more people, more experienced. And who am I? Why would anybody want to hire me or pay attention to me or anything like that? And, it took a lifetime to really realize that this was just a horrible, negative, bad story that I was telling myself. And it was a long process to get to that. And you mentioned that I was involved in the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? My husband and I were hired to do that movie as filmmakers. We had a post-production company. We were hired to do the post-production on the movie, so we weren't involved with the actual, making of the movie. So when I was watching the movie during this process, it was just like there's a whole world out there I had not realized was out there.
Amazing.
The basic themes that they were talking about, like, you have the power to control yourself and control your destiny, was a revelation to me, because I was the ultimate fatalist. Things were the way they were. I was dealt a hand of cards and I had to play it out the best I could. And there was nothing I could really do about that. So when I saw what this movie was telling, it just shook me. It was like, wow.
Such a revelation
It was a revelation.
Yeah.
And at the time, you could look at me from the outside and say, oh, I'm a successful person. I had a very happy marriage. I had, this lovely company we had, great kids and, nice lifestyle. You think, oh, everything's great. But inside, I was just racked with this thought that, there's something else there. There's something that's missing. And I didn't know what it was. And that was the question. So for me, when Bleep came into my life, it led me to ask a lot of questions. Didn't really provide, the answers, but it led to a new path that I could follow. And I spent about 10 years, reading books, going to seminars, looking at all kinds of different things. And, little by little, got this understanding that, yes, I can do more with myself. But again, I didn't get that aha moment, if you like to say. And it was working on this film, Dreaming Heaven, which was a documentary that my husband was hired to direct, and I was involved with the production side of it. And one of the people who was a participant in the movie was this woman named Kelly Sullivan Walden. You didn't know what she did in the movie because the movie was about this trip to Teotihuacan, Mexico. It was a spiritual journey. So the movie was all about the journey. I met her after we were involved in the production, found out that she was a dream expert and was at the time starting up a dream circle. And if you don't know what a dream circle is, it's a group of people who meet on a regular basis to talk about their dreams. And she led the circle and in the process educated me in what dreams can do for us. And it was very much along the philosophy of a dream worker I later read and studied, named Jeremy Taylor, who said that all dreams reflect inborn creativity and the ability to face and solve life's problems. And that's just an amazing concept if you think about it, that our dreams, which are things we all dream, whether we remember our dreams or not, we all dream, and that these dreams, which come from ourself, come from our own mind or subconscious, whatever, however you want to define it, can help us discover things about ourselves that we are not aware of in our conscious life.
And sometimes we're not quiet enough in our conscious life to pay attention to what those are. No. And yeah, I have this recurring dream all the time. I edit a lot of books, and every night there's the same book that I'm editing, and I can't figure out whose book it is. It is just so funny, and it's like so real. And I've got to go and talk about it, and I'm like, but I don't even know which book that is when I wake up in the morning.
Right. Maybe off camera we can talk about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
do some analysis of it. But anyway, after I met Kelly and got involved in these dream circles, I was seeing through the dreams that other people were having what dreams could do. There were people in the circle who at the time, were having relationships and got, answers to why the relationships weren't working through their dreams. There are people who changed their career path because of dreams they were having. And, my dreams, I, at the time, was not quite sure, what message they were giving me. I was getting interesting images and ideas that were showing me that there was more to me than I was letting myself show. Then I got so fascinated with it that I decided to take up her study program to be a dream life coach. And at the time I started, I wasn't so much interested in being a coach as just to learn more. And it was a very comprehensive program that just touched on all different realms of dream work. During the course of this program, I had a dream that I like to say it's a dream that changed my life. And it showed me that we could do anything. I could do anything. I could break out of, this little shell that I had put myself into and express myself and be the person I wanted to be. So when I was exploring this whole idea of how dreams can, affect us and give us the ability to face any problem in our life, I was thinking about the whole idea of confidence, because as I became more aware of my dreams and took the meanings of them, I was finding I was rediscovering my own confidence. And, my confidence grew to the point where I said, I'm getting so much out of these dreams. I'm not just going to keep this to myself. I want to help others find the meanings behind their dreams as well. So I finished the program, became a certified dream life coach, and I've been doing that since. And I realized that we can use our dreams to reveal the confidence that's within us. So when I say revealing, we call it the unvoiced confidence, because the confidence has always been inside us. We were born confident. I like to give the example of when we're babies and we're learning how to walk, and we take a couple of steps and we stumble. We don't
keep getting back up, don't we?
we don't say to ourselves, "Oh,
I can't do that.
I can't do this. This is terrible. I'm not. I don't have the ability. I don't have the confidence to do this. I'm never going to get up and walk. I'm just going to lay down here and crawl forever." We don't do that. No, we get up. We take a couple of more steps. We laugh because it's so much fun to be doing this process. It's great. And, yes, it takes time and it takes practice, but after a while we're up and walking because we had that unvoiced confidence, that inborn confidence that we could do this. And over time, as we got older, things happened. I like to say life happens that chipped away at that confidence.
Yes.
And it very often happens in the most innocent of ways. For example, you have a messy room and your mother says, clean up your room. You're a mess. You're always going to be a mess. Or, you get a bad grade on a test and the teacher says, "Oh, you're really stupid. Or you're never going to learn this." And they may have made these as innocent remarks or just in the heat of anger and it was a passing thing, but we took those inside and we made them mean something about ourselves that told us there was something wrong with ourselves. And over time,
it wears on us, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it wears on us.
I had an author that I spoke with yesterday, and she was telling me that when she was a little girl, the kids she had a lot of freckles on her face, and the kids used to make a tease her and say she had cow poop all over her face. And it affected her entire life. And I guess at one time her mom said that she was very homely. And she said she was like well into her 50s before she realized her true inner beauty, her outer beauty, everything, and how, that totally affected her for so long. And she likens it to like the shame that we feel, or the unvoiced confidence and the closed doors. And once we realize that how wrong those things were, and probably, kids can be pretty mean sometimes as far as how that goes, and the forgiveness on her part, which opened the doors to much greater things than what she's doing in her life now.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. These stories that we tell ourselves are so self-destructive because they do keep us from finding our power and our passion and our true selves. The sort of insidious thing about this, though, is that on one hand, they do help us in some ways. The person who was told she was stupid might have said to herself, "I'm going to show you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong," and study and become a success despite what this was told. But on the other hand, she still is carrying some degree of sort of self-hate because of the stories that she's told herself. Even though she might be successful as in a career, is maybe lacking in what she really wants to do. Has really not discovered what she really wants to do, because this was something that she did to prove somebody else wrong, not because she wanted to do it, but because it was a matter of showing that.
Right.
So one way that we can get beyond these stories is to really discover what these self-limiting beliefs are. And sometimes we can't find them on a conscious level. You say, okay, well, what is it that is causing me not to be the person I want to be? And you might not know, you might not have that answer, but you can get the answer through your dreams. Because, and this is dealing with the nature of dreams themselves. When we dream at night, we use a different part of the brain that we use during our normal waking lives. And this part of the brain, some will call it the subconscious, and we'll just call it, the limbic system or the hippocampus, whatever, the part of the brain that is active while we're sleeping. The images, the thoughts, the symbols that come up in our dreams when we have these, they are totally devoid of these stories. They are our true thoughts. They're our true beliefs.
How fascinating.
Yeah. So the unfortunate thing about it is because we dream in symbols, we don't always understand them. And because we don't, we tend to dismiss them. And we do that at our peril, because there's so much valuable information to be had from the dreams. So
how do we start? How do we change that? How do we start remembering our dreams if we've dismissed them for a long time?
Well, the first step would be to really embody the belief that dreams are important. Because most people, unfortunately, don't believe dreams are important. They just think they're, images and crazy thoughts. And probably the only time they remember dreams are when they're nightmares, because they're so vivid and scary. But we have dreams every night. We all dream between 4 and 9 dreams a night, depending on our sleep cycle. And when we take the time to believe that dreams are important, it helps us to remember them. So the first step of remembering them is to believe dreams are important. Second step is that it's a practice. If you haven't been remembering your dreams, it takes time to get into the practice of retraining your brain to remember the dreams. So what I'd like to recommend is that right before you go to bed, you make a dream declaration, which is an active, conscious idea on your part, to even go as simple as saying, tonight I'm going to remember my dreams. And write that down and put it under your pillow. So it's the physical idea of writing it, and the talking it out, remembering it, helps trigger your brain to remember your dream.
How fascinating.
And like I said, this may not work the first night you do it, because it's new to your brain, and
because we're not used to using that part of us.
Practice over and over, and you will. And in terms of confidence, you can tell yourself, make a dream declaration, what is holding me from finding my confidence? And when you make this declaration, the dream that you're going to have is going to give you a clue into what's keeping you from your confidence. It can reveal one of these beliefs that you may have, and you don't realize you have, that is holding you back, that's keeping you from feeling the courage and the strength, and being able to let go of the fears that are keeping you from doing what you want to do.
How fascinating. My brother and my sister, they both, we went through some really difficult times as a family, and both of them very actively dreamed, and they had books. They were, well, what is the meaning of this dream? And, they were using that book. They both were using books to kind of translate the meanings of their dreams. And I always found it fascinating, but I've never very seldom until recently have I even started remembering dreams, little, and even at that, not have a clue what that means, it's pretty fascinating. How about for you, Bianca? Are you an active dreamer?
Yes, I dream quite a lot. In fact, I write my dreams, the ones that are very vivid. I write them down, and I go back to years back, because you forget the dreams. But I believe that like Debbie said, their dreams are like in your subconscious. You're getting this wisdom that you can use in your real lifetime, and they're always there. I find it fascinating. The dreams are amazing, and I can't wait to talk more to Debbie one-on-one about it, because it just I just have so many dreams. I just unbelievable. And I have a dictionary. I have several books that explains the meaning of dreams, and they all say different things. But I have this really old one that is almost coming apart, but they're right on the dot. I mean, it's just like unbelievable, the meaning. So
The important thing when you are trying to figure out what your dreams mean is to always ask, what do these symbols mean to me? Because they don't always correspond to what's in a dream dictionary. Dream dictionaries were written as a compilation of hundreds of thousands and thousands of dreams that people have had, and it's been like the common denominators for what these symbols mean. But you always find that, especially if it's a very unusual type of dream, the symbol, that it may not mean what the dream dictionary says it means, but you might find a meaning for it that really resonates with you. So it's always important to ask that question.
right.
So that it's in the asking of the question, and then the quietness of listening, perhaps that you get the real revelation as to what what message that is bringing to you.
Yeah, I mean, there are many, many different ways to interpret or understand dreams. The one obviously is to define what the symbols mean to you, and then either meditating on it, writing, just automatic writing on what this is and what it is, what the idea of the dream means, and in the process, you can get answers. Talking it out with other people very much helps. There's a technique where you actually ask questions of the symbols, like they're on a witness stand, and you're the prosecuting lawyer asking the questions. Why are you here? What are you talking about? What message do you have for me? And it's amazing how that works, because you would think it wouldn't work. You would think, I'm not going to get an answer, but you do. And it's an amazing process. There's also, when you're dealing in a dream circle, you're talking with other people, sharing your dream and reflecting on it and getting insights from other people as well. There's another technique called dream theater, where you have people act out the symbols and the story of the dream, and you as a dreamer look on as an observer. And again, you would think, when other people acting out the dream, what are they going to give me? It's powerful. It is a powerful process. And I've seen people just break down and cry after going through that, because it's like this amazing catharsis and revelation. It really feels like you're opening up the whole top of your brain, and everything is spilling.
Like, come on, look at it.
It is. And that's why I love dream work, because there's so much that we could gain, and so much that we don't even realize it's all within us. The dreams hold the answers to almost any problem that we have, if we allow ourselves the time and the quiet to reveal what these messages are telling us.
So what that equates to me is the self-care that is so important, that Bianca mentioned too, is that, and some of us will immerse ourselves in busyness, especially during dark times, when we've going through tough situations. But it's the self-care and allowing that time, the quiet time, to really contemplate, to meditate, to truly take care of ourselves in whatever that means, whether that's taking baths with Himalayan salts or different, whatever those things are, whether it's the quiet meditation, going for a walk, whatever, letting yourself really have the quiet time to contemplate and to really come to grips with what's really truly going on.
Right. And one of the things that actually helped me uncover my unvoiced confidence happened as the result of writing this book, 101 Dream Dates. A dream date is something you do for yourself, by yourself, like take the walks or take the bath or the meditation, whatever it is. The difference is that this thing that you do for yourself, by yourself, is something that you don't ordinarily do. So you do something that's just a little bit out of your comfort zone, a little bit unusual, and that has the effect of, besides being the time to have self-reflection and self-care and that feeling of, being with yourself, you do learn to love yourself in the process, because in the process of doing something a little bit different, it's revealing and reinforcing that courage that you have, and which also encourages and reinforces the confidence. And the more you do this, the more you make this a regular practice in your life, you love yourself more, you feel more confident, you feel more energetic, your energy level rises tremendously, so you feel more creative, more loving. Every positive aspect emerges, when you do a process like this.
Absolutely. So in the book that all three of us are co-authors in, Amazing Woman, It's Your Time to Emerge. When somebody picks up this book, Debbie, what would you hope that they would get from this?
I would hope they would see, number one, they're not alone. There is a community of women out there who are caring and loving and committed to uplifting all women, including the person who's reading the book. I would love them to see that the possibilities are out there in any aspect, because we all write about different aspects of our womanhood. And so anybody picking it up, will find something to relate to in. Hopefully they'll see something in all the stories, but they'll find something in one of the stories that they'll really resonate with and say, yes, I see myself here. And if this woman was able to, do what she did, I can do it too.
There's so many beautiful nuggets in it. And for you, Bianca, we're just about to the close of our show.
I think for me, I think it will be inspiring for other women to for healing and learning. There's a lot of wisdom there, and I think it's an inspirational book in all aspects of it. And all the co-authors are amazing women, and I'm glad that I'm part of this group, and it's pretty exciting.
It is. I think all of us have grown even from the writing, just participating in this writing. We've all been able to grow, and it's like we had our celebration on the book launch day this week, and it felt like there were so many of us there just ready to lock arms, to walk arm in arm in the process. And what an amazing thing to know that none of us are really alone, that there is a whole tribe of people, women that are standing up and saying, here, this is the way, this is how we did it. This is how I personally did, each one of us have gone on this journey to wholeness and wellness, and really standing up so that we can guide others to do the same. And that's what's important. It's oftentimes the darkest times, the darkest things that bring us to the thing that we bring to the world now, because of what we learned from those dark times.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. So this book is available on Amazon. If you look up Marcia Engel, you'll see this book, Amazing Woman, It's Your Time to Emerge. Yeah. And then, and thank you to our listeners. We will be back Monday with one more of the authors from this book, and also an expert that is coming to talk about using Amazon ads to keep that book selling. So we bring experts to the table as far as showing authors how to keep their book out there and selling. But we also bring beautiful women like this, all these wonderful authors that stand up and share their story. And with that, we are already 10 seconds over time. So thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you.